My name is Maurice Njagi. I'm a mushroom farmer based in Kiambu, Banana to be specific. This is my 7th year as a mushroom farmer. However, this is not what I studied in campus. In campus, I studied Bachelor of Commerce, specific in marketing. But after campus, I knew for sure that I wasn't going into employment. I was going to be self-employed, and I had to look at options. And since childhood, my family and my grandfather have been into agriculture, coffee farming, and I think that is where I got my interest in checking out agriculture as a viable business. However, if you look at agriculture, the perception out there is that it's either a retirement plan or just as a last option if you don't have any other option, unless of course you have parents or relatives who have plantations, in which case you can just assimilate to the family business. So after campus, I immediately went into passion fruit farming, but that was very demoralizing in that there's a lot of theft back home. So most of the fruits were getting stolen. So instead of harvesting 50 kilos of passion fruit, and end up harvesting about 10 kilos, which didn't make sense. And if you look at the costs of running a passion fruit farm, it's quite high with the pruning, with all the fertilizer you have to use, the manure. So it wasn't quite making financial sense for me. So in the process of doing passion fruit farming, trying to make it work, a friend approached me and told me there was this opportunity that KCB were getting youth to go and study agriculture, hydroponics to be specific, and they would cater for transport, and food was catered for. And I thought, wow, this is quite a good opportunity, because before that I'd only read of hydroponic farming. I'd never actually seen it done in Kenya. I didn't know anyone in Kenya was doing it. So I immediately applied for the program, and we went, and I was successfully chosen because we had to go through the interview process, and we studied for 3 months, and the program was quite beneficial and very effective in that we used to go there twice a week, so it didn't interfere with my agricultural plans. And also the impact that the program had, I would say it had the biggest impact on my career as a farmer, because before that, bookkeeping, I never used to really be keen on how much am I spending on what, how much am I getting back, what's the profit margin, how can I lower that. I never really used to treat it as a proper business to say. So while in the program, I got interest in mushroom farming, but then on going online, the information I was getting was too technical, one, and two, it seemed very expensive to do. If you look at 7-10 years ago, if you needed information on mushroom farming, what you find is articles from India, from Europe, nothing from Kenya per se. So it doesn't really resonate with us here as local farmers. So I sort of shelved that and was like, okay, this is too expensive, I need too much money, and it's too technical. I don't think I'm going to manage this for now. Then one day I was having a conversation, and someone told me they know someone doing mushroom farming and it's not as expensive. So I visited them, saw their setup, and immediately built my grow houses and started. But it was very laborious and tedious to actually get it from a farm that's just starting to profitability, because getting information, especially on button mushrooms, was quite difficult. So the diseases, the processes on how to make the compost, I couldn't get that information. And that, I think, is one of the things that I'm so grateful for KCB, because once I attended that program, I actually met 2 other farmers that were growing button mushrooms. I visited their farms and saw that what they were doing was quite impressive. Well, it's a bit different from what we're doing now, because over the years we've added some structures that now make us, we can actually make compost to levels that are quite high standards as compared to what we were doing back then. And I would never have considered that if I didn't go through the KCB 2jiajiri program.
Now kutoka kwa Maurice nimesoma vitu mingi kutengeneza compost. Like for now naona naweza anzia busy yangu. I can build my house and start making my own compost and growing my own mushroom. Na naona inasaidia my youth, like hapa in Makuno tuko 5 people tuko employed hapa, and also naona pia naweza ajiri youths waachane na vitu kama drugs. Yeah.
So why mushrooms? As again, theft. When you have a passion fruit farm where you're projecting to make 100K or more a month, and what you're harvesting is 5,000 to 10,000, then that kills your morale. You don't have that drive to continue because someone is harvesting in the night what you've worked for during the day. So I looked for something that can have sort of control. I can control the elements and be the one dictating whoever has access to my farm or what conditions are in my farm. So it was either a greenhouse or mushroom farming. So I did the math, and mushroom farming is what looked most secure to me, and that's the main reason why I went into mushroom farming. The math made sense in terms of the profit that you expect. The space needed also made sense, and it's secure. As you can see, we're in a grow house. If you close that grow house, no one has access to the farm. And also the market. Back then, the mushroom market wasn't as diverse as it is right now. So even if someone was to somehow have access to your grow house and steal the mushrooms, they have nowhere to take the mushrooms. They don't know the actual marketing that goes into mushroom sales. So for me, it made sense from that aspect, in that I could control what's happening in my grow house, and I'm secure, and also the profit made sense. Yes. Well, KCB has been quite a good resource, in that once we joined the program and left, they later came up with this market day. That for me, I attend the one at KTN Home, whereby organic farmers and other young people that went through the program get to showcase their products as well as sell. So we usually sell most of our mushrooms there, and it helps a lot because we've also created a network of buyers as well as other people who are interested in mushroom farming through the KCB Market Day. Also, last year we attended the Nairobi Trade Fair, and that was sponsored by KCB, and that has opened very many doors for us in terms of people willing to invest and people who are also looking to start their own mushroom farms. Yes. So mushroom, one, for example, I'll give an example with the house that we're in. This house is made of mud bricks, and then it's plastered. The walls are plastered. That is because in the house, when you're harvesting, the moisture is very high, and that will damage your walls, the mud walls, because you're watering, the moisture is high, humidity is high, so you'll keep redoing the walls. So to avoid that, that's why you see the insides plastered. So that's one of the changes, because most farmers will use mud houses, and you find that the issues with where there are parts where there are cracks, mud is falling off, and you have insects getting into your grow house, you have rats getting into your grow house, snails, and then the quality of your product tends to reduce, because if you go to the market and someone finds an insect or a snail in your mushrooms, they're not going to come back to buy from you, so you've lost a client. So when it comes to the structure, what you're looking at, it depends with how much are you looking to make, how much do you have to start, because the first thing, it's crucial, you can't do it without a grow house. When we joined the program, I met a friend there, and so the setup was you'd meet someone there, and then the two of you would register a business, and then you'd get funding to get a greenhouse. So I met someone there, and we were very interested in the program because it made sense, because we'd contribute 80,000 shillings, and then KCB would top up 800, sorry, my maths might be wrong, but 800,000 shillings. So in total it would be 880, which we would repay back from the sales of whatever crop we were growing. And at the time we were looking at capsicum and tomatoes. So we were actually very interested, because we registered and went through the whole entire process, but then COVID happened, and then there was the break, and during COVID, is when now I got into expansion, built more grow houses, and had a huge network of farmers as well as buyers. So I sort of didn't fully actualize the greenhouse plan, but it was a very good plan that if I didn't go into mushroom farming, I would definitely right now be in either tomatoes or capsicum, yes, under KCB. First of all, KCB helped us in that through the program, they taught us how to do farming as a business and not look at it as just farming. The same way, if you have a hardware, you look at what has been brought in, how many bags of cement, how much did it cost, how much was transport, how much labor did you need to get it out. So the same concepts, we transfer them to agriculture. So how much does it cost me to make one bag of compost? How much will I get from that one bag? How much labor, how many people do I need? So now I'm more savvy in the mathematics. I tend to look at the economics of it. Documentation is very key. So whatever is harvested, we have to write it down. Whatever went as grade 2 has to be written down. The number of people I need to run one grow house. So now from that program under KCB, I can do farming more. I can grow mushrooms and do it as a business and run it more professionally as compared to just waking up selling, because you can sell 100,000 shillings and think you've made profit, when in real sense you've made a 20,000 loss, because looking at from the start to the end, how much you've spent is more than what you got back. So KCB helped a lot with that. And also the other thing is with hydroponics, because before that I thought hydroponics is something you just see in Europe, in Asia. It's really not something that's applicable here. But once I visited the program, we visited farms who are doing hydroponic farming. And if you look at mushroom, it's a very technical crop. And that, I think, is why I'm really grateful for that program, because hydroponic farming is not something you can just wake up and set up. There's the science behind it. You need to know how you're going to make the solution. You need to know how to set up the beds. You need to know what crops to grow in there. You need to know the temperatures, all that. And it's the same with mushroom. Compost making is a process. There's what you need, the materials you need, how long do you need to compost them, what temperatures, what moisture levels, what pH. So there are several similarities between hydroponic farming and mushroom farming. And it helped with realizing that if someone can do hydroponic farming in Kenya, then you can do mushroom farming successfully in Kenya as well. When it comes to mushroom farming, the one thing you need is structures. It's not an outdoor crop. You grow it indoors. The main reason for that is because you need to control the environment. There are several stages in mushroom farming, and the first one, it depends. You have to choose which species, or rather which type of mushroom you want to grow. There are oyster mushrooms, button mushrooms, and then there are specialty mushrooms, which are like the medicinal mushrooms, for example. So for a farm, we have a specialty on button mushrooms and oyster mushrooms. I'm going to tell you the process for button mushroom, which is what you can see growing behind us. So for button mushroom, what you will need, one, you'll need the grow houses. And for your grow house, what you should have in mind is that during fruiting, you're going to need low temperatures. So it should be a structure that can accommodate the low temperatures, and also should be a structure that doesn't allow insects, and also no leakage in your grow houses. So you have to make sure your roof is properly done, your walls are properly done, and it should be a house that's easy to clean, because mushroom tend to get infections quite easy. So it should be a house that should be easy to clean. So even the way you make your beds, make sure the material you're using, for example, if it's wood, you can use hardwood, and then reduce the interference by, or rather the chance of mold, by using softwood or moldy wood for your beds. So the size that you would need is dependent on how big you want to start, because mushroom, you don't need that much space for mushroom farming. And it's one of the things whereby I wish that I knew when I was starting mushroom farming, or rather the service was there, because the making of the compost, for example, the process that goes into compost making is something that you can actually get, for example, outsourced to a company or other, especially people who are doing composting, and then you can focus on growing mushroom. So for any new farmer who's starting their mushroom farm, that is the route I would recommend. The structure, what it entails is you need, of course, the house, and then you need the shelves. For the shelves, the spacing should be something in between the shelves should be easy to move around with. You can move with crates when harvesting, when watering, when you're cleaning. It should be easy to work, should not be too squeezed. And then the first bed should be at least 1 foot from the ground. The reason for that is because of splashback. When you're misting your bags or watering or cleaning your floor, the water can spill, or rather spill from the ground or just splash into your bags, causing contamination, which will eventually spread throughout your entire house. And then the space in between the beds should be easy to work with. When you're harvesting, it should not be so squeezed that you're struggling to get your mushrooms, because when you go to harvest and it's too squeezed, with your arm, you're going to damage some of the mushrooms, and also the chance of you ruining the other bags is also high. So that's why you find that this spacing is about 0.5 meter, which is sufficient to water, to harvest, and all that. So the first step when it comes to button mushroom farming, you will need to make your compost. So for compost, you can use wheat straw, chicken manure, gypsum. So the reason you're using this is because wheat straw has very good structure when it comes to the compost that we need, in terms of the bulk size, the nitrogen levels, and the carbon and all that. The chicken manure is used for nitrogen, to raise the nitrogen, because the main food for the mushrooms is nitrogen. And that's why we use that. And then the gypsum is to regulate the pH when you're growing your mushrooms, because mushrooms do not thrive in an acidic condition. They prefer basic alkaline to neutral to alkaline conditions. So that's why those are the materials that we use. And then you're going to start your composting process, which involves watering. So the first thing is to water your wheat straw. Make sure it has enough water. After that, mix it with your chicken manure, and then put the mix into the bunker. So in the bunker, what we do is we turn on the blower, and then it blows air into the compost, raising the temperature. So temperatures in there will get from 65 all the way to 75 degrees high. That softens the wheat straw, making it easy for the microbes and for the microbes to act on the wheat straw. So the biological processes in decomposition can be shortened, because if you didn't have that bunker system, it would take you 30 to 35 days to make compost, whereby you have people turning manually, so it's labor intensive and the cost is also high. But when you have a bunker, that process is cut down by half to 15 days. Once it's gone through the bunker phase, you then get it out and put it into the tunnel. The tunnel has several purposes. One is conditioning, whereby it's removing the ammonia. When the nitrogen is breaking down, it forms a lot of ammonia, because there is water and there is nitrates. So the ammonia is very harmful for mushrooms. So we need to convert that ammonia to nitrates, and so that the mushrooms can be able to consume it as food. The second purpose of the tunnel is pasteurization. So for our process, we want it to be fully organic. Fully organic meaning for us we don't use any chemicals, and the only way we can achieve that is using steam. So in the tunnel, we raise the temperatures to 60 to 65 degrees for at least 6 hours. That kills off all the insects, all the harmful bacteria, while leaving the good ones that we want. So it's there for around 7 days, after which we take now the compost to the lab for tests, just to make sure everything is okay. And once that is confirmed, now we go to the next step, which is bagging and spawning. So once after bagging and spawning, now our bags are ready for incubation. So we take them into the grow house, which is what you can see right now. And then they're going to be here for about 14 days as we allow the spawn, which is the mushroom seed, to grow. Once it's grown for 2 weeks, we're going to add our casing soil to the top and then cover it for another 14 days, after which now we'll start harvesting our mushrooms. So for mushrooms to grow, you'll need a layer of casing at the top, which we prepare by using soil, cocoa peat and agricultural lime. After we've mixed them and we've gotten the moisture to the levels that we want, then we steam it for 4 to 10 hours, let it cool down, and then we add the layer to our bags, and we're ready after 14 days to start harvesting.
Vile Maurice anatufunza, tuna provide quality mushroom. Like nikienda soko, most of the customers wanapigania mushroom zetu. Like unaona zingine zimechange, ziko brown, zetu ziko white like the button mushroom, na hiyo inanipea motive ya kupeleka. Nimelani mambo mingi sana, like naweza pia mimi naweza sema from the KCB to 2jiajiri, naweza ambia youth wenye wako huko nje wajaribu hiyo chance, wasikae tu idle, na kuna hii program inawalipia. Also mimi nilifanya the hydroponic farming na naweza sema inalipa, sababu nimeona na pia mimi niko mmoja.
Mushroom farming has had a huge impact on me, because when I started, I was growing mushrooms back home. I had 2 grow houses, and then I got partners. So we have a partnership here. It's 4 of us, and so far I would say that it's had a very big impact in terms of the number of farmers that we've managed to help set up, the number of farmers we're working with, as well as the number of people that the number of people that we've employed directly or indirectly, because for one round from composting to harvest, for composting alone we have 10 to 15 people who come regularly to help with composting, and then we have 6 permanent employees who are here full-time, and then during harvesting we had an extra 8 people. So in total for one cycle, we'd say about 30 to 35 people that are needed to actually get this crop from the ground all the way to emptying this grow house. Mushroom farming has helped, and as Makuno Organic, I wouldn't actually know what number, but we've had so many people who've gone through our trainings, people who've set up successful farms, and that makes me proud to see people from start all the way from clearing their land to building the grow house to now being successful farmers who can also help other farmers set up their own farms.